Welcome to episode 2 of Crypto Hoops and Tunes with Coach Munchko. In our first episode, we went over my portfolio holdings, and today we're going to dive in a little bit deeper. We got a lot of new people coming into the crypto scene with the market going up the last month or so. So we're going to talk about how to get started in crypto, start throwing some crypto terminology out at you, which I'll probably do in each of our episodes. And then I'm going to do a little review of Polygon, my number one holding. And then in hoops, I got a request to do a review of Oklahoma basketball. We'll talk about that. And then take a review of the Maui Invitational. Had a great group of teams playing in that tournament. And then lastly, touch on Steely Dan, my favorite group of all time. So let's dive into it. Getting started in crypto. First, public service announcement. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is just some of the things that I'm doing or would do. And as you're getting started in crypto, number one, go slow. There is a lot to learn. An awful lot to learn. So you got to dive in and do your own research just on the crypto world, let alone specific coins and tokens to get involved in. So in terms of doing your own research, watch lots of YouTube and how-to videos. If you get tied in or get your interest piqued by a certain crypto, go out to that project's website. Read through it thoroughly, go into the roadmap or the white paper they might have there describing the project, get into the tokenomics, which is, how much of their supply is allocated to the team, to marketing, to the public, etc. How much goes to venture capitalists. That's going to make a difference on what the price sits at and how it might go if the team takes profits or dives into that supply. Check out the market cap, circulating supply, investigate the team, see if they have any history in crypto. Do they have any history in the specific narrative that they're talking about? Another good place to find information is Discord, and we'll touch on that in a little bit. Also, it's probably a good idea to follow the project on Twitter, even their CEO, CTO, those kind of folks. Follow them on Twitter because you can get little tidbits that might give you some insight on how the project's, which way the project is leaning. And then the other thing is don't believe everything you read. There are people out there that have ulterior motives, so you have to take everything you read with a grain of salt and make sure you're following that with some more research so that you can get to the truth of the matter. And then finally, before you go out and pick a crypto to invest in, evaluate the risk associated with that crypto and the potential rewards that you might get from it. So you've gone and done all your research and you found a crypto that you want to buy into. So you have to get a wallet, and a wallet essentially is like your crypto bank account. And there's all kinds of wallets. Certain cryptos only can use certain wallets. So you have to do some research into the wallet, check and see what the history is. Have they had any hacks or downtime, that kind of stuff. When you get a wallet, you're going to have to write down the private keys associated with it. Usually it's going to be 12, 16, 24 words that you have to keep track of in order. So you need to make sure you write those down and don't ever save them on a computer, any kind of electronic device. Because if your computer or phone or whatever, people are scamming out there, they can get that information off those electronic devices. So you want to write them down. And I would always make a copy of those private keys, write them down, have 2 sets of it and store them in different places in case there's some kind of issue. There's a fire or water damage or whatever the case may be. And then once you get your wallet set up, you're going to have to sign up for an exchange. And there's a ton of those out there, and you have to do your research on the exchanges because they do get hacked. There are some that are much safer than others. They're centralized exchanges, which means that they will hold your crypto. And if for some reason there's an issue with that exchange and they go down, you might not get your crypto back. In fact, you probably won't get it back. So you got to do some real investigation on the exchanges. Decentralized exchanges are where you actually keep custody of your cryptos. And those are always good to have, but they're not. For somebody just getting into crypto, you're probably going to have to start out with a centralized exchange. Something like Coinbase here in the U.S., that's a pretty solid one. It's actually on the New York Stock Exchange. It's publicly held, so it's regulated by the government. And I think that will be probably a pretty good start for most of you. Their fees can be a little bit high. But they do have something called Coinbase One, where you can set up for just a flat monthly fee and get unlimited transactions. That's probably something for somebody that's been into crypto for a while and is trading many different types of coins and tokens. And then the other thing is, once you get it, you know what you want, you got your wallet, you've got an exchange, start small. Meaning just buy $50 or something like that and go through the process so that you understand how it works in terms of buying something off of an exchange, sending it to your wallet, that kind of stuff, and get that practice in, because it's very easy to make a mistake. You have to be on the ball when you're doing it, and the only way you're going to learn on that kind of stuff is to actually do it. But I would recommend making small starts so that if you do make a mistake, you're not hurt too badly. And then lastly is only invest what you can afford to lose. It's not something where you're going to throw all your money into one coin. You want to have a diversified portfolio. You want to make sure you've done your research on all your coins, but make sure you pay your bills first, and then if you have some disposable income, you can take that and put that towards your portfolio. All right, let's talk about a few slang terms, and I'll do this probably every episode for a while until we kind of run through it, because there is an awful lot to learn. So the first one here is called wrecked, and that's a slang for getting wrecked, meaning you've taken some kind of heavy loss on a trade or an investment typically made by a poor decision, or you have your money you have your cryptos on some centralized exchange that gets hacked and you lose all your coins. So that's getting wrecked. Moon or mooning, no, not that kind of mooning, is when your crypto just takes off and shoots straight upward on a price chart, and you see a major increase or uptrend, and you end up making a lot of money off of it. Bag refers to the number of coins or tokens that you hold in your portfolio for a given crypto. So, for me, we're going to talk about Polygon today. What's the size of your Polygon bag? Well, I've been cost averaging into Polygon for about 2 years, so I've actually built up a decent bag for Polygon, and Polygon's, like I said, is my number one holding, and it's really a top-notch program, I think, anyway. And then you'll see DYOR, do your own research. If you're watching YouTube videos, you should not be going out here and listen to anything that I say or somebody else says. It may give you an interest, but you need to follow that up with your own research into the crypto, the team, and all that kind of stuff that we're going to talk a little more about here today. All right, let's get into Polygon. Polygon, the ticker is Matic. We're going to go out, check out the website, Roadmap Tokenomics team. If you haven't been out to CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko, those are two good places to find information on any given crypto. And one of the really solid things about Polygon is it has some serious partnerships with some major corporations globally. Nike, Starbucks, Disney, the NFL, Meta. I mean, you can't get any bigger than these corporations, and Polygon has developed relationships with all of them. And one of the reasons that I'm so supportive, if you will, on Polygon is if these companies are developing partnerships and relationships with Polygon, they've got the people that are diving into Polygon and all the details, and they have confidence in the company. So if they do, there's a pretty good chance that I'm going to. And Polygon has some top-notch technology. It's an Ethereum layer 2. So Ethereum is your layer 1. Polygon sits on top of Ethereum, and it provides scalability and cost effectiveness. One of the drawbacks of Ethereum is it's not very scalable at the moment. It's not cost effective. Transactions on Ethereum can be very expensive. But as a layer 2, one thing that Ethereum does have is excellent security, and as a layer 2, Polygon's able to leverage that security. So Polygon provides that scalability, the effectiveness, and takes advantage of the security of Ethereum. And then it has significant adoption, as you can see by those partnerships. So let's go out and take a look at Polygon a little bit more. All right, so I'm out on CoinMarketCap, and it's a little bit slow here. And you can go out here and search on almost any crypto. If you don't see it on CoinMarketCap, you can go to CoinGecko. Between the two of them, you're pretty much going to be able to find information on just about anything. Right now, Polygon is at 77 cents. And once we get up here, you can see by looking at the chart that it's had a pretty good. This is the monthly chart, and if we take a look here back to about a month ago, Polygon was at just about 61 cents, and it took off and got all the way up to about 97, 98 cents, I believe, 95, 96, somewhere in that range. Dropped down a little bit and sitting at 78 cents now, so it's still got a nice little 20% plus move here in the last month. I'll take that any day of the week. Some of the other information, you got the market cap. It's over $7 billion. The volume, $365 million volume every 24 hours. And this is one of the positives about Polygon also from an investment standpoint. The total supply of Polygon is about 10 billion tokens. And right now, the circulating supply is about 9.3 billion. So a vast majority of the coins are out in circulation, which means you're not going to see a major dump by anybody on the team that's going to dilute the supply and cause the price to go down. So as we head into this bull run here over the next 12, 18 months, when Polygon starts to move, that supply is already out there, so it's not going to hinder the price of it moving forward. And here on CoinMarketCap, you can scroll down. There's some information on the right with the followers here on CoinMarketCap. It tells you the different markets, i.e. exchanges that we talked about a little bit earlier. Coinbase is going to be a solid exchange moving forward, and actually it's something I'm considering to buy their stock out on the New York Stock Exchange, because We're getting ready to see the Bitcoin ETFs with BlackRock and ARK Invest and Fidelity and all those about to be approved in the next month or so. And when that happens, Coinbase's price is going to go up because they are the facilitators or the holders of the Bitcoin that's going to be on those ETFs. So Coinbase is probably a pretty good exchange to get started with. Binance, on the other hand, probably not so much. It was at one point the number one exchange in the world. Their CEO just resigned. He was put up on criminal charges by the SEC. They fined Binance $4 billion. They fined the CEO $50 million, and it's a little shaky right now. It's not necessarily going to go under, but I wouldn't be touching Binance at the moment until we see things settle down over the next few months. So you can see all the different places where you can purchase Matic. Again, do your research on those exchanges. If we go over to their website, which is at polygon.technology, you can find all the different information that you want out here. It talks about the various solutions that they provide, their proof of stake, their zero knowledge Ethereum virtual machine. They got Maiden coming out shortly, a bunch of different stuff there. It talks about information to developers, their community, different resources available for you. You can see the white paper. Strongly suggest that you go dive into that. And then you can get out here and actually use Polygon. And if you're doing research on a different crypto, get out there and try to play around with it as much as possible to see if you like what you're looking at. And then over here you can see there's a couple links. That's the old Twitter logo, but that's X. So you can click on that and join and follow them on Twitter. And then there's the Discord logo. Click on that and it'll give you all kinds of different information that's circulating around from the community, the Polygon community. So everybody should go through and take a look at this. Got all kinds of information in here. And then, I don't know what's going on. My computer is really slow today. So one thing, let's touch on why is Polygon so widely adopted. So first of all, scalability. Like I mentioned, Polygon's built on top of Ethereum, which is the most popular blockchain platform out there. And as I mentioned, Ethereum has some scaling issues, and Polygon's Layer 2 solution helps to address those solutions, making it much more attractive to mainstream companies. I also touched on the high transaction fees with Ethereum, and Polygon offers much lower transaction fees, making them a more cost-effective solution for companies to adopt the Polygon technology. And again, they get the security of Ethereum because Polygon's a layer 2. Interoperability, that's a term you're going to hear a lot of. That allows Polygon to work with other blockchains and applications. We talked about the security. And Polygon has a strong and supportive community of developers and users, provides a myriad of tools and resources that makes it easy for developers to build and deploy their applications. And again, it has a big community. So just a little overview on Polygon, something to take a look at. I'm not telling you to buy it or not to buy it. I'm just telling you to go out there and take a look at it and see if you like it. Make sure, again, you do your research. So let's go back. What do we got next on this schedule? Okay, Oklahoma basketball. We're getting a little long here, so I'm going to have to speed this up. So I got a request from somebody out on our comments to do a review on Oklahoma basketball. Their head coach is Porter Moser. It's his third season at Oklahoma. He came from Loyola Chicago, and they were the darlings of the NCAA tournament there for a couple years ago. They had Sister Jean, the Catholic nun that's like 100 years old, that would come to every game, and she was on TV all the time. And Moser was able to take Loyola to 2 Sweet 16s, and for a mid-major program, that was quite an accomplishment. So I think he's a pretty good coach. Going to Oklahoma in the Big 12 is a pretty big jump. His first couple years there, he was 19-16 and 21-22. Last year, 15-17 overall. They're off to a good start this year at 5-0, and just yesterday they beat Iowa in an invitational tournament they're out in San Diego playing in. So that was a good, solid win for them. Looking up the rest of their schedule is a little bit easier here to start the season, and they're going to be taking on Seton Hall and USC in the title game of the Ratty Children's Invitational. So another opportunity to kind of see where they're going to fall. So they were picked 12th in the preseason in the Big 12. So there's not a lot of optimism, it doesn't seem like, for Mosier and the Sooners this year. But again, they're off to that 5-0 start. Good win over Iowa. We'll kind of see what happens here in the final of this tournament that they're in. But the Big 12 is no joke. They got, Kansas has literally won the Big 12 conference almost every single year for the last, I don't even know how many years, 20 years or so. And then Houston moved into the Big 12 this year, and under Calvin Sampson, they've been a top 10 team every year for the last few years. Texas is up and coming. There's just a lot of good teams in that conference, and Oklahoma's going to be up against it. They lost some kids to graduation and to the portal. They picked up a few in the portal, but they don't have a lot of experience returning. So it's going to be a challenge for them in conference to see how they're going to hold up. I don't really see them competing in the top 5 or 6 this year unless there's some kind of surprise from one of the transfer portal kids that they got. But I do think Mosier is a good coach, and I think he'll keep them competitive. I don't know if they're going to be finished 12th in the league, but they're not going to be vying for the title, in my opinion. So if you look at their schedule, it's very slow today. Again, they got out to that 5-0 start, and they're actually going to be playing. It's November 24th. They're going to be playing USC this afternoon. USC is always tough. They're coached by Andy Enfield, a Baltimore guy, went to Johns Hopkins, coached at Johns Hopkins, and they're always going to be a solid team. So we'll get another good indicator on how good Oklahoma is going to be today coming out of that game. But they opened up with Central Michigan, 30-point win, Mississippi Valley State, Texas State. They really hadn't been challenged or played anybody of any significance up until that Iowa game. So a 12-point Iowa win on a neutral site, that's a good win for them. We'll see what they do against USC. But overall, I like Mosier. Big 12 is a tough conference. I don't know if they're going to drop to 12th in the league. I think they'll be somewhere in the middle of the pack, but I don't see them competing this year for the conference championship, but we'll see how it goes. All right, let's see if we can finish this up because we got way too much time going on here. I did want to touch on the Maui Invitational just a little bit. Out in Hawaii, they had an outstanding field. Tennessee, Purdue, Kansas, Marquette, Gonzaga, UCLA. Chaminade is a Division II that hosts the tournament, so they're kind of the fodder for Kansas in the opening game, but it came down to Purdue and Marquette in the championship game, and Purdue ended up winning. Purdue went into that number 2 in the country. Kansas was number 1, so Purdue's going to jump them and be number 1, I'm sure, next week. Marquette's got a heck of a team, though, too. Really good tournament, good place for these coaches to kind of see how their teams are developing, the things that they got to work on moving forward to improve as much as possible. So Maui Invitational was another good tournament. Hopefully you got a chance to see some of those teams play. And for our tunes today, Steely Dan, my personal all-time favorite band. I've seen them in concert probably a dozen times, which when they first came out, maybe the first 15, 20 years of their formation, they did not tour at all. They were founded in 1971 by Walter Becker and Donald Fagen. And they have a unique sound. It's a blend of rock, jazz, R&B, and blues. So it's a very different sound, and it's kind of catchy. It is for me anyway. And they're also known for their strange lyrics, cryptic, very humorous, ironic. I listen to it and I'm like, how do you come up with those lyrics? It's just beyond me, but it's fun. Their first album was Can't Buy a Thrill back in 1972. They had 2 big hits off of that, Reelin' in the Years and Do It Again. They released several albums in the subsequent years leading up to the Asia release, which is in 1977. My personal favorite album of all time. And the title track, Asia, is my personal favorite song of all time. It was their top-selling LP with lots of critical and commercial success. But a few years later, they broke up. Donald Fagen went on his own and did some albums on his own, which I really enjoyed. Becker did one himself, but not too much success with that. They did end up reuniting Steely Dan back in 1993, and they released their album 2 Against Nature, which ended up winning a Grammy for Album of the Year, which came completely out of nowhere. They sold over 40 million records worldwide. They went in the Hall of Fame in 2001. VH1 rated them number 82 on their top 100 list of all-time bands. So I can't play any of their music on here. YouTube won't let me do that, but it's something just like the cryptos. Go out, pull up your Spotify, your Pandora, whatever you listen to, iTunes, and pull up some Steely Dan and tell me what you think. So we're going to wrap this up. In the comments section, tell me what you think of Polygon. Are there any other cryptos that you'd like me to take a deep dive on? I was planning on touching some of the ones that I had in my portfolio from the last episode as we go through here and move along. If you have a college basketball team that you're a big fan of and you want me to do a quick review of them, I certainly will. We'll touch on the top 25 rankings pretty much every week. And then if you have a band that you're interested, I can take a couple minutes out and talk about them. So thanks for being with me here today. Thanks for sticking around. Do me a favor, go out and hit the like button, hit subscribe. I'm just getting started, so I got to build up the community. And we'll see you next time. Take it easy.